Okay, hi guys. So, in today's video, I wanted to talk about what to do when you're low on motivation. And the first thing I want to say is that it's normal to have these days. Everyone has them, and it's not something that you should receive genetically. It's based on many things, and it can tell you a lot about your well being and your state. So, motivation is dependent on both internal and external factors. So, let's talk about them. So, first, we have external factors, and this can be based on several things, but it's mostly what happens in the real world that makes you feel like you're low on motivation. So, I'll give you a few examples. So, maybe you wake up at a time where your body hasn't received this amount of sleep that it should have had. And because your circadian rhythm is so messed up, your sleep quality starts to really go down. And when your sleep quality goes down, things feel like 10 times harder. Second, we have nutrition intake. And this is how much nutrients and food and vitamins that your body has received. In order to receive these, you have to eat food that isn't processed or anything like that. If you've been eating processed food lately, like sweets, or I'm not talking about in a way that you sometimes eat them, I'm talking about in a way that you replace it if you're actually feeling hungry. Because what I do, if I ever get the urge to eat sweets, I always make a promise to myself that I will eat them after a healthy meal. And if you haven't been eating any balanced and healthy, nutritious meals, then you're definitely going to feel some sort of pain in your tooth. Maybe you feel low on energy because the problem with processed food is that they have so much sugar and unhealthy amounts of fats and stuff, your energy starts to go up for a moment, but then it quickly goes down. And because of that imbalance of energy levels, it starts to go down. So that can be another reason for why your motivation is low. Another reason is probably too much instant gratification. Now, this wasn't even in my planned video, but I can definitely tell you that instant gratification is one of them. What is instant gratification though? Very interesting question. Let's take junk food, just what I've talked about, video games, alcohol, stuff like that. They give you instant pleasure. But the problem with these instant pleasure activity, it doesn't take you effort to actually receive the award. You get it instantly. And they're not natural, are they? Natural things are often like journaling, spending time in nature, things that don't overwhelm your dopamine system in the brain. When you partake in activities that are like eating junk food, playing video games, you know how bad you feel afterwards. That's the instant gratification taking an effect on you. So, what happens is first you get a spike of pleasure, but they don't actually do anything with your mental health or your physical health or anything. So, the problem with this is that you start to use it as a procrastination tool and you start to put away all the activities that you know you should be doing. And because of that, it's in the back of your mind while you're doing these activities. So when you do these bad habits or activities, whatever you want to call them, what happens is because you're putting off these tasks, you often feel even worse afterward because you know that you should have been doing those things and you've just been spending your time doing those bad habits. So that can be another reason why your motivation is low. Another one is so simple, yet without it, it can really cause some damaging effects. So this one I would call is your water intake. Let's go take a sip together. And I also have tea. So let's take another sip. This tea is specifically designed to help your immune system, and this is what I need because I get sick way too often. So this is a sign that you need to prioritize your health. Don't get sick like me, like every month. Please don't. Water intake. No matter what it is, tea, coffee, water, whatever you want to call it. If it's a source of liquid, then that's basically your water intake for the day. Water is very good for blood circulation and it helps with your digestive system. And without this, it can often lead to paleness, tense muscles, things like that. Water intake is also really important for your motivation levels, so take them as well. Another thing is how you've been socializing. And it's not in a way that maybe you've been partying with your friends, playing games with them. Yeah, that can be good. But what I'm talking about is actual, real, healthy relationships. When was the last time that you've had that? Because I know it's not hard to have real friendships when maybe you struggle to make friends because you believe that this entire world is toxic and that no one fits to your levels. Therapy is a big help. So if you need to talk about your feelings or release them, you can either partake in therapy or you can write down in a journal, like I have right here. With therapy and journaling, you can kind of let out your thoughts without judgment because a piece of paper won't judge you and a professional won't judge you either. They're literally designed to help you. There's no problem with discussing your emotions. Some people think that maybe it makes you weak or that you should just present yourself in a way that others may see you as your best self. But it can actually be really helpful for developing relationships with your peers. And the final one is the amount of movement and exercise. I'll say exercise. Yeah, the amount of exercise that you are partaking in. So, right. Let me just do a warm up. Yeah, this is the kind of movement you need to be doing. This may be another reason why your motivation is low. Maybe you're not partaking in enough movement or exercise. Maybe you haven't gone on enough walks. Maybe you haven't jogged, cycled, whatever. Like gone to the gym, it can be anything. And I'm not talking about some vigorous activity that you need to do every day to train to be a marathon runner. Like, no. It can be as simple as just doing a small 10-minute yoga session. Movement is necessary because when you're so confined in the space, you're just sitting down, not doing anything. You're not moving, you barely take enough steps. The problem is you feel this energy that needs to be released. It's so stuck inside that your body doesn't know where to put it, so it just stores it inside. And this, as a result, it makes you feel like trapped, like you have nowhere to release that energy. But what goes in must come out. So you must release that in a form of movement or exercise. It can also be really good for regulating your dopamine levels as well. When you're so used to instant gratification activities that I've talked about, you start to become used to this dopamine. And when you're so used to this dopamine, you can't find happiness in small things. And when your body senses that you don't feel happiness anymore, it really struggles to feel motivation again, because where is the motivation when you don't feel happy in nearly anything you do? But when you partake in exercise, it can help restore that dopamine that your body needed. It can help restore the dopamine that your body needed to feel that happiness again. See, this is what drives me insane. People like to talk about how painful exercise is and that you should fit into this body standard. No, that's not the point of exercise. It's mental, it's up here. When you see athletes and anyone that's been training, do you think that the physical side is the only thing that helped them receive that body? No. The body that you get from exercise should not be your main focus. I see this trend where people starve themselves just to fit into this body standard. No. The point of exercise is to feel good in your own skin, not to feel bad about it. So why should you make exercise your punishment? It should be something that's rewarding, something that should make you happy. It should be a part of your day that gives you a moment to just think. And this is where people ask, how can I stay so consistent in this exercise? When really you should be setting more mental goals. Mental is more about the root of what you like. It's the root, so it's what completes your character. Your physical is only on the outside. It's not enough of a motivator. It has to be something mental as well. Like, okay, maybe you want this body, fine. I can accept that. Everyone wants a body type that they want to receive through workouts or anything. But your main focus should be your mental health. That should be your number one priority. Mental health comes first before anything. Your tasks can wait. Your well-being can't. I've made this mistake so many times. Whenever I want to do something with my discipline, it's good to partake in disciplined activities. But the issue with this is that so many people tend to just put even more pressure on themselves. Pressure that makes them feel burnt out, and then they just end up in this cycle where they go back into their bad habits because it feels so overwhelming. It shouldn't be like that. Your body should be a safe space, not a space where you feel so lonely or like everything feels forced. I had an issue of not feeling good enough for what I was doing, and as a result, I've been low on motivation, like really low. Like, it got to the point where I just gave up on everything, and I was like, you know what? This isn't giving me happiness. This isn't, so what's even the point? That's when it starts to become depressive. Is that when it's not procrastination anymore, when you delay an activity because it causes you anxiety. It's more of like you stopped feeling happiness in things. This is where mental health takes its place. Your mental health comes first because one thought can lead to another, and those thoughts can lead to an urge, and that urge can lead to a habit, and that habit can lead to a lifestyle. Do you see where this cycle goes? It starts with one thought, and it's up here. That can change your life. And I'm not even joking when I say that. That can change your life. One thought can change your life. And I know that you can't control your thoughts. Thoughts are uncontrollable. This is where you get the opportunity to change your mindset. And so many people say that it's just easy to think positive. No, it's not easy to think positive. I want to tell you that it's not easy. On bad days, when your mental health is low, your alarm woke you up when you didn't want to, people are screaming your name from downstairs, you start arguing with your family members. How are you supposed to feel positive when you're in that state? It's not easy. This is when I recommend some activities that can help you in this state. My number one advice, gratitude journaling. If you don't know where to start, you can just write down on a piece of paper. Look. No excuses. Get something like this. Get a pen, any quality. All that matters is that you write down something. Next, I want you to write down 3 things that you are grateful for. Start with a sentence. I'm grateful for ... Finish that because. Because will really help you to think. Because it's easy to say, I'm grateful for my family. Why are you grateful for your family? I'm grateful for the lamp. Why are you grateful for the lamp? It's all about the why. It's not about the thing that you're grateful for. All that matters is why. Why are you grateful for it? It starts to really get into your mind. And this can help shift your mindset, shift your focus, because we tend to focus so much on the negative in life. Do you see how when you start with such a morning routine like that, you start to focus on the negative because of the things that are happening around you? But gratitude journaling shifts your focus onto the more positive side. So you can see, hey, you know what? Well, at least I have this. I have this, so why do I need to worry? That's the part when you start to feel more happy. Another thing you can do is just normal journaling. And this is where you start to heal your inner wound that you have. Maybe it's some trauma, some stress. Maybe it's just some physical aspect, like maybe you have a headache. Maybe that's been weighing on you. Write it down and take note. And what you can do is you can also see, when do you usually feel in this state as well? Because maybe you feel a pattern. Okay, sometimes maybe it's a one-time thing, like maybe you have a headache because, I don't know, you went to the roller coasters yesterday. Start to ask yourself, when I'm feeling like this, when are some other days that I feel like this too? When you see this pattern, you're like, okay, so maybe it's because of this activity that I've been doing that's been causing this feeling. So maybe it's a problem with my activity that you have to change. Maybe it's a problem with my habit. And then this is where you can replace your habit. What I highly suggest is that you don't focus on trying to stop the bad habit, but more on what you actually want to achieve in life. Put your focus more on the positive side. So start to be like, you know what do I want to achieve in life? Why do I want to achieve this? What state do I want to be in this amount of time, in 6 months' time, in 1 year time, in 5 years, in 10 years. Start to focus on what you can be and less on what you already are. Because you already know what you are, right? We get so many reminders every day that we should be doing more. But when we focus so much on what we haven't done, all this negative, we start to adopt this negative lifestyle. Everything around you becomes negative and you start to lose the point in living. This is why it's so important to just journal down, jot down anything that you're thinking. Because when it's on a piece of paper, you can directly see that thing in front of you. It's so much more productive instead of just keeping it inside, keeping it internally, storing it where your body doesn't want it. Imagine keeping all this negative energy inside. Like, imagine all my thoughts, like, I'm horrible, I'm worthless, like, thoughts like that. Imagine that building in my mind. Whereas, imagine you write down every single thought that you had on this page, and instead of it being in your mind, you see it here. And the best part about this is that you can separate it from who you are and your feelings. When you separate it, you can look at it more as a feeling, as an urge, as in whatever, as a thing that's not you, instead of what you actually are. That's the key. You won't let it control you. You won't let your thoughts take control, because what matters the most is what you do today. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Just think to yourself, what's one small thing that I can do that can possibly change my life? Don't focus on all the progress that you've got to make. Just focus on one small thing that you can do that can help you improve your life. Be 1% better every day, not 100% better by tomorrow. That was in one of my previous videos, but I think it suits this video. So, just let me know if this helps you with your motivation levels. I hope my cat enjoyed it too. See you next time. Bye. You enjoyed it, didn't you? Oh, that's so cute.